You get to check out a lot of the bands on the tour.
I try to get out and watch, a band or two a day. This year's been extremely busy with our, with getting Mayhem up, and then our 15th anniversary event that we're getting ready for that'll be held out in Los Angeles. I'm going through tons and tons of music licensing and paperwork and trying to get all this paperwork done before the show actually films. And it's funny, we're advertising a movie that hasn't even been made yet, and so we're under some deadlines because we get a one-time shot at this theatrical release on September 17th, and we have to have it right. So we've been filming people that have been on the tour, like Blink's out on their tour right now, so getting film crews in to go work with them, or 303 dropped off one day, so we filmed that, and then we've got to get the music clearances. That's where we need the music business people at, because right now, between all the syncing and publishing and under the rights and everything, it's driving me crazy. All I want to do is go put it on the show.
So I understand that you get like 2 to 3 hours of sleep as it is now with Mayhem and Warped Tour going on at the same time. Next summer you're planning on starting a country tour. I think you're going to be able to sleep.
That's going to go out a little earlier. That's going to go out May, June. So plan will be that kind of, I'm working on that right now. There's some paperwork going around here. I can't let you guys see now. I'm working on my offers for the artists right now, and so I worked on that for an hour this morning, sent off some offers. That'll go out in May, June, but it's also a thing. Probably I'm having some situations where it's almost easier to live in a parking lot sometimes than go out and deal with the real world right now. So
Why do you think they're all sponsored by energy drinks?
I drink one. I can't even tell the kind I have because they're not sponsoring this tour. So but I also find that it helps keep the mosquitoes away.
So is the country tour gonna be more of like a Mayhem fest with like 13
kind of closer
bands,
to like 13 bands, some activities, some things. I think that one has a potential to grow into something more Warped style down the road. Country people are pretty cool. Metal people need a hug, more of them, and a little more of like I'm dealing more with that metal, which goes back from working in the clubs 28 years ago. I could never understand why if a kid liked metal, that tickets were $10, punk was $5, t-shirts have been there. Metal people pay more because metal people, it's just so I'm trying to change that a little bit. We're having some great success with bands like Killswitch Engage, who have played on all our tours, and Bullet for My Valentine, and hanging out in the parking lot last week with I was meeting on Trivium, and I'm not. So it's kind of cool to meet those bands. There's more, and I think in the country world, there's a lot of those guys thinking in the mindset of what Warp's about. That's why Shooter Jennings is out here.
A lot of bands follow the tour, and I noticed that halfway through there's a notice kind of, hey, if you're following the tour, leave us alone. Do you let them follow the first half of the tour?
Well, there'll be more that come on. There's still bands following the tour. The biggest thing, I don't mind bands. I'm trying to balance letting the bands that are on the tour gain the most from this. Not only, but financially, because everyone's trying to make it down the road at this ticket price. It's still very fair for a night, And what happened this year, that really sucks actually, because we are about the only tour that lets people walk the lines, and you go to any other, they're going to chase you off at most venues. But this year I felt a weird kind of, and we kind of kept it. Bands inside should be the bands that are on the tour. Walk the line all you want, but then bands that I really liked, and I'm not going to say their names here because I'm going to forgive them and look down the road at them, and hopefully. But there was a couple bands who were very close to getting on this tour. They were just really young. And I was kind of like, well, okay, this band's been around a year or so, let's give them another chance. And within a couple days, you find them selling or making their own fake laminates. You found them selling laminates, selling wristbands, pulling scams. And we had one couple guys pulling a scam with some people on the inside, because they would help them go find a drug connection. And I'm like, wow. That's, I just don't want people, and it's not the money to me, it's not people taking money out of my pocket. Despite the rumors, I do live a nice life, and I feel like I don't rip off my scene in any way. But to be kind of like that brazen and bolden, that, to make something fake, and then when you talk to them, they're like, I didn't think it was wrong. Just as, hey, it's kind of like making a fake driver's license. You can use it until you get caught, but then there are repercussions to it. It also, when it just gets to be so crazy out here, and you have, 30, 40 bands following along the tour, and you know, they're coming in and they're trying to set up tent. We get bands that like came in and just started setting up their tents in the morning, and wait a second, what are you guys doing here? Oh, well, and then what's that fake laminate you have? And wait, you know, but it's also, you understand that this tour, I have to be somewhat, I try to be very understanding. A lot of people say too understanding to some of this situation. But I understand, you know, it's a great, sometimes it's easier, you have better success marketing yourself in the Warped Tour parking lot than you would with the record label at this point, with the abilities they have to market you. So I know why they want to do it. And, you know, it's easier to be broke ass on the road in the Warped Tour than it is to be laying on your mom's couch going, I couldn't get a summer job. So if you have a van, but it just gets to be overwhelming. You pull in the parking lot, we got 20 extra vans, no one can figure out they're parked in the middle of the venue. So it's just kind of like, hey, time to go home. Let's keep the experiences, because a lot of the bands that won't leave are the ones who had a few shows at the beginning. And I try to say, you know, we got new bands coming in. Every time someone leaves, someone else is coming in to take your place, and let's make the experience as good as I hope yours was.
Do you get a lot of people, a lot of kids coming up to you, Kevin, can I please play today? My
Yeah, well, I get that. I mean, if you open that drawer, I mean, that's just, well, under there, that's just full of demos and things people have handed me in the parking lots. And, you know, hey, it's going to be one day maybe people won't want to play this tour, and I'll be like, hey, you know, but I'm just, it's just a managing, it's kind of a juggling act. And that's why I think I'm here every day. Mayhem, you don't have that. There's no, you know, that's, you don't have bands following along.
Struggling metal artists.
Yeah.